Hello. Hi, welcome to a review of anything. We're going to talk about Cloverfield.
Why are you so upbeat? Every time we've done this, it's been slow and depressing.
It's a change of pace, because we're talking about Cloverfield. Am I right? Cloverfield's cool.
Send help.
It's been like almost a month since the Cloverfield paradox came out. And we're finally reviewing the original, even though we saw it 2 weeks ago.
Have you seen the movie The Cloverfield from 2008?
It's a wonderful movie.
It's a good movie. We're not going to talk about the story because it's been out. All right, bye.
At this
we
point,
should at least talk about the influence that it had, what we like about it, what we don't like about it.
If you have not seen Cloverfield at this point,
go watch it.
Go watch it. If you're a monster fan, it's cool. It's a neat influence, I think, on like the entire American monster, like modern cinema, I guess. Yeah, I mean, if you don't like found footage, then like by all means skip it because you'll probably get motion sickness.
I would even say if you don't like found footage, watch it because
Yeah.
it's a different kind of found footage, and you'll probably like it.
It was sort of the first time, I guess, that found footage movies had been done to such like a, I guess, like a Hollywood scale essentially.
Well, no, because there was Blair Witch. Blair Witch was before 2008, right?
No, I'm saying like a high budget. Like Blair Witch is a low budget thing. Like there's like no effects really or anything.
Where it takes place more than just the woods or a house.
Yeah, like
it takes place in New York fucking city.
Yeah. But yeah, so Cloverfield's had a pretty interesting influence, I think, on general like American giant monster movies.
Cloverfield had a big influence on marketing.
That too.
It changed the way that people decide to market movies.
Yeah, I would say Cloverfield's definitely one of, if not the first movies to incorporate a lot of online marketing.
Yeah,
I mean not every movie uses like the ARG that Cloverfield does. Like, I mean, it still does to this day.
Cloverfield was the first time that a movie relied on internet to
become popular, essentially.
For people to discover it.
Yeah.
It, like, you know, they decided to make fake profiles of the characters in the movies, ironically on MySpace, and they really put in faith along with the way that people would definitely catch on. They had a couple different series. They made fake news broadcasts that would be released online.
Yeah, they had like actual fake companies and like
fake companies
with like their goals outlined.
Fake company websites.
Yeah, like just like way.
They had I don't know if it was released on YouTube initially, but they had a series where the entire time it had nothing to do with Cloverfield. It was about a couple that, you know, were good buddy and all that, and they loved each other. And then, like, as, like, a week went on, they just started drifting apart. I think someone was cheating on the other person. And it's a guy and a girl.
I don't remember this.
You don't?
I
It's
don't.
pretty neat. Go watch it. Because the girl's actually in the movie. She's in one shot of the movie. It's during the party. And she's just sleeping on the couch.
Oh.
I'll show you after this.
I mean, like, I know most of the Cloverfield ARG. I just had not heard about that. I mean, I guess maybe it's not relevant.
The way it links in is that, you know, they're in New York, and she's like, I'm going to leave for the party. And then I guess if people were really that much of a big mega fan, they were going to recognize her in the movie.
I mean, yeah, that's a lot of stuff in this movie. If you followed the ARG super closely, you'd recognize a lot of stuff in the movie and make all sorts of connections and stuff.
Yeah.
As people still are doing to this day with the release. Oh, my God.
People are even people are finding stuff about Cloverfield 5.
Yeah.
Like, they just realized, you know, that there was like excerpts from like a newspaper that was dated back to the 60s that had I don't know what writing it was in, but it was Middle Eastern, which links into what people suspect is Cloverfield 5.
Well, yeah, and that's a movie that, like, I mean, at least I had heard about existing beforehand, which is one that's, I mean, it hasn't been confirmed to be a Cloverfield 5. But
it hasn't. It's speculated.
It's speculated, and I feel like it's an obvious choice to be a Cloverfield 5. But yeah, like this movie starring Daisy Ridley, that you may have heard about because it was announced around the time The Force Awakens was just released or so, and Daisy Ridley was getting lots of roles. Anyway, we're digressing a lot from the point of Cloverfield.
Anyways, Cloverfield, it was groundbreaking in marketing.
Mm-hmm.
It also brought new light on ways that people could show a story. Like...
I mean, especially, like, I think a story of this kind. Like, giant monster movies especially.
Because found footage had been really brought mainstream because of Blair Witch. But they decided to take, your stereotypical monster movie at the first time after being after Godzilla 1998 in the same city, New York, but putting a found footage twist on it. So you never get any big angles where you see the entire body, of just one shot.
Like where you're focusing on it, like, oh, look at all this cool stuff that the monster's doing.
Yeah.
It like, this movie could have easily just been marketed and played off, I mean, like, even with the same movie it is, as just being like, it's like Godzilla, but it's not. It's found footage. But it manages to take that idea and create, I think, possibly next to Shin Godzilla, one of the more realistic reactions to, like on the ground reactions to a giant monster attack, which I really, really like. 'Cause that's the kind of stuff that I love seeing.
That's one thing that I feel is not represented enough in monster movies. Is
represented well enough, at least.
Like being in the city while this giant fucking monster is killing and destroying everything that you have known and loved.
And as a civilian, I mean, at least in this one, because Shin Godzilla, you're focusing on politicians, so that's like a different ballgame.
Yeah.
But Cloverfield, you're a civilian on the ground.
You're in the footsteps.
You know about as much as they do.
In fact, whenever they released the first trailer, they didn't say anything. They didn't release a title. I think the first trailer came out for Transformers, first Transformers.
I don't even remember.
I watched a couple videos.
Okay.
The first trailer came out, I believe, for the first Transformers, which came out in 2007. They didn't release, a movie title or anything. The movie had no big name stars at the time, and it. I don't know. I think it just, the only monstery thing that it showcased was the Statue of Liberty's head, just flying and hitting the ground.
Yeah, that obviously could be.
Yeah.
Anything. Actually, that's also a surprising aspect of this movie is how much. I mean, not to get too much into this. It's obviously a touchy subject, but this is only 7 years after 9/11.
Yeah.
And the imagery that's pretty strikingly similar.
The stuff that you see in the movie is verbatim the footage that you see that people were recording on the news.
Like, you see people running away from a huge dust cloud and just overtaking everyone. Silhouettes, like everyone is hiding in a shop as this dust just filling the streets. You see silhouettes running by, trying to shield their eyes. They're coughing everywhere. It's almost chilling in a sense. Some of the scenes where, at least watching it for the first time, even watching it this past time, I was like, yeah, this is.
I know
it's pretty.
It's a movie where you probably want to see it a lot, but whenever we watched it a couple weeks ago, the last time I had watched it was 5 years prior.
I had seen it maybe 2 years ago, and that was the first time I saw it in full. I did not see it when it came out initially.
I saw it when it came out.
Well, I didn't see the whole thing. I saw the monster scenes that everyone is putting on YouTube. Here's the 1 minute and 9 seconds of footage of monster in the movie. I'm like, wow, look at that. I'm not gonna watch the rest of the movie.
I kind of wanted to get into this whenever I saw it. I was 8 at the time whenever it came out, I believe.
Yeah, we would have been 8 years old.
Well, I'm just depending what time of the year it came out. I forgot. Oh. But I was 8 at the time, and I had seen the trailer probably whenever Transformers came out. But I had, I was 8 years old. I wasn't caring about movies. But my brother was really interested in seeing it, and this movie's PG-13. I think that's something we have to keep in mind, because this movie could easily be rated R. And this movie...
Yeah, I guess thinking back, it's kind of... At least for the time that it came out, I think it gets away with a little bit more than you would think it would.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not overly gory.
But it's all implied stuff.
Yeah.
when I first saw this, as a kid, I was still single digits. I was 8. I have never been scared in my life, really, except for a handful of times, but never from a movie. That was the only time I was genuinely scared from a movie. Ever. Granted, it was because I was younger, probably.
Yeah, I was going to say, Cloverfield's not at all intended to be like a horror movie, like a horrifying thing.
Yeah, but I feel like still being young, where you don't know a whole lot about the world still, you still, at the age of 8, could think that a giant monster could appear, maybe. Not knowing what the movie was, all I knew was that my brother said, it's a monster movie. And I was like, I like Godzilla. This was different. And I was scared, but I was entertained, and I loved it. Loved every second of it.
Okay, so it kind of sounds like we're gushing about this movie like it's a masterpiece. I don't think it's.
I would say it is a marvel of
fair.
Not
it's not like a perfect movie.
Not a pinnacle of filmmaking. It is a marvel of creativity, of a way you could show a simple story, but make it complex and intriguing and entertaining and scary and thrilling. And oh my god, I'm going to continue. I need to stop.
It's a great movie. I feel I don't know where I would rank it out of all my favorite giant monster movies.
Oh,
yeah, I mean I wouldn't even
put Godzilla's on the list in the sense of I couldn't compare the two.
It's comparing apples and oranges. The only similarity that you can see with comparing Cloverfield to a Godzilla movie.
But I would put this still on a top 10 of most groundbreaking movies that have a high impact on the way that stories can be told.
I think at least marketing speaking, this movie did a lot that I as far as I'm aware was pretty unprecedented. And
it wasn't thought of, people were using the internet, sure, but
this is 2008.
People were using
YouTube was 2 years old. I don't know. I'm trying to find something. Yeah, I'm trying to find something else to say about this movie. I mean,
everything has been. That's the thing. Everything's been said
that could be said. The people that don't like it share their opinions. The people that do like it share their opinions, like us. The people who will post endless theories about it and how many timelines there are in Cloverfield Paradox.
Oh, God.
And how the monster in this movie is definitely the same one in Paradox. Or is it, though?
Thanks, Cloverfield Paradox, for making everything complicated. You could have just made it a prequel.
Or just made it more anthology.
But
the general audience demands connections. So, Cloverfield's a good movie. If you have not seen it, I don't know why you haven't. I mean, if you're a fan of giant monster movies...
You fool!
If you're a fan of giant monster movies, or...
If you haven't seen Cloverfield, you're not a real Zone Fighter fan.
Yeah, and episode 3 won't be released until you see Cloverfield, except it might be out by the time this is posted. I'm not going to put money on that.
Really?
I'm not going to put money on that, though. Tomorrow's Annihilation review.
And
then next week is God knows what.
I gotta say this. Until this video gets 500 likes, we will not release episode 3.
That like?
We will not release episode 3 of Zone Fighter until we get 500 likes.
In fact, we won't even release episode 3 at all. We'll go ahead and release 4, 5, and 6 and onward, but episode 3...
No, we'll just stop making videos after
We'll just stop.
We're done.
We're not going to stop.
We're just going to make Mirrored, but we're going to redo it every other month.
And it's going to be about Mirror Man. The tokusatsu superhero. Instead of... Yeah, okay, so this has been a review of anything. You said to be all depressing. Why didn't you do it?
Because now I'm all upbeat, Jake.
Okay, bye.
Bye.